The students of Environment and Society in the Department of Social Sciences at the University of Bahrain called for the establishment of a culture of recycling plastic products and finding alternatives that are environmentally friendly, stressing that waste recycling is easy but requires awareness of its methods. This came in an environmental event and an exhibition titled "If We Do It" at the University of Bahrain in the presence of the Secretary General of the National Initiative for Agricultural Development, Sheikha Maram bint Isa Al Khalifa. The event included awareness projects on waste recycling, plastic damage to the environment, marine wealth, and agricultural development. The idea of this event is central to educating individuals about the importance of preserving and purifying the environment by changing some practices harmful to it. It also opens the field of innovation among university students to research ways to preserve the environment. The interest of future generations and the contribution to find solutions to the challenges facing the environment today is a very special and important part of life. The event included outstanding student projects on agricultural development, highlighting their importance for national security, mental health, and the environment. It aims at preserving the environment by changing some harmful practices and indicating the importance of linking and coordinating between different sectors to achieve the sustainability of the environment and its resources. One of the most important objectives is to support national efforts to support the agricultural sector and asking all members of society to contribute. Under the patronage of Her Excellency Faiq Al-Saleh, Minister of Health, the Scientific Symposium on Spine Diseases and Treatment was held. It was held under the title Spine and Frequently Asked Questions. This aims to shed light on the latest developments in the field of diagnosis and treatment of spinal problems in the presence of a group of healthcare providers and specialists in the field. The symposium witnessed a wide local participation of nearly 200 participants from different specialities as well as neurosurgery and spinal surgery, in addition to nursing staff and other healthcare professionals of physiotherapy and rehabilitation. The conference was of great benefit in the diagnostic and therapeutic fields. Her Excellency also highlighted the latest developments in surgical techniques used in the treatment of spinal diseases, and case studies were presented. All spinal surgery topics, including injuries, tumors, fractures, and diagnostic methods, were discussed, and scientific and practical experiences were shared between the members of the association and participants from all over the world. The symposium has made several important recommendations for the development of diagnosis and treatment methods and the optimal use of latest backbone technology, and following up on patients after they leave the hospital for them not to return again with the same issue.
Bahrain Chamber of Commerce and Industry, represented by the Committees Unit, the Board Relations Department and the Coordination Group, organizes its first Committee's annual conference Create Change on the course of 2 days, with the aim of creating a roadmap for a modern business community that meets the current economic developments and ambitious expectations by discussing the most important topics and issues related to each sector.
The forum for the committee meetings for the different sectors by the Chamber of Commerce is a stop of many stops that we use it as a platform of communication with our members of the Chamber of Commerce or the business community as a whole, to hear from them and they hear from us, and also to evaluate the performance of the committees, subcommittees, on their specialization in different sectors, and also cover different specialized aspects of that sector. And from there, we formulate recommendations that goes up to the board of directors, and we form it as issues that we could take it up to the decision makers, legislators, to create changes if there are any problems that affects growth in economy or performance and efficiencies of business sectors' performances.
The first day featured Finance, Insurance and Tax Committee, which focused on financial and credit rating of companies, Technology Committee, which focused on global e-commerce platforms and business traders, their challenges and opportunities, Health Committee, which focused on tackling the challenges affecting the quality of private healthcare services provided in Bahrain to set the infrastructure of therapeutic tourism.
The Committee of Finance, Insurance and Taxation, we have the objective that is of threefold. Number one, the enhancement of the banking and the insurance sector, supporting the companies in their financial needs, and thirdly, the awareness of the VAT for all of the economic sectors. Now, we do have a number of priorities. One of the priorities that we have discussed today was related to the credit rating. If we look at Bahrain economy today, there is no credit rating for companies. So we are recommending that we need to have a separate entity in which it's going to do the credit rating for the companies at all levels, being the large companies, the SMEs. Why we need that? Because SMEs and companies are dealing with each other, and they need to have sort of a credit limit. So this would help them if they have a credit rating by an independent body. Secondly, for the banks, when they wanted to grant loans to the companies, they do have a factor that they could rely on. And thirdly, the credit rating is going to enhance the financial infrastructure of the kingdom, which will support, the injection of the foreign investment to the country.
Industry and Energy Committee, which focused on downstream industries and challenges of exporting to the Saudi markets, Transportation and Logistics Committee, which focused on protecting national carriers.
Transport and Logistics Committee is one of the most important committees in the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce. In most of the countries, transport and logistics contributes big time to the growth domestic product of country's economy. Now through Bahrain Chamber of Commerce and Bahrain Economic Development Board, we are working together to achieve Bahrain 2030 vision when it comes to transport and logistics contribution to the economy. This sector represents different subsectors, including air transport, including marine, including surface transportation, and also other sectors like freight forwarders, etc.
The second day features Real Estate and Construction Committee, which focused on improving the efficiency and accelerating the speed of the procedures of urban planning and real estate registration and organization. Second, working of the contracting paper titled Profession. The Commercial Markets Committee focused on unofficial businesses conducted in the markets, competing with official businesses, giving them an unfair competitive advantage.
Today, of course, we have a wonderful meeting and the discussion with all private sectors owners, stakeholders, and this is not the first one. We had a majlis before in Chamber of Commerce. We had a lot of visits to the stakeholders. We have a lot of visits taking the stakeholders' point to the government, but today we put 4 points in discussion which came from the private sector itself. Number one, the quality of healthcare, to bring the tourism to Bahrain, raising the quality, and when a form of any organization like hospital, center, pharmacy has to have certain percentage of healthcare people who know to be in the share, not only investor, to raise the quality. And of course, we talk about Bahraini or non-Bahraini.
Food Wealth Committee, focused on food logistics challenges. Education Committee, focused on higher education, tourism and vocational training diversity. And finally, the Hospitality and Tourism Committee, focused on regulating the events, conferences and exhibitions in the kingdom.
This committee has studied several things. The first challenge that lies, we focused on 3 challenges. The first challenge is to create quality jobs with good value addition. And to secure that, we need to secure the raw material for the feedstock to from the primary industry to the downstream industry. The prices has to be competitive and sustainable and for long tenure, enough for us to attract investment. The second is that we have to integrate our industries with the massive industry that's coming to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, because it's an extension market. We have to have presence, cross presence by Saudi investors in Bahrain and Bahraini investors in Saudi Arabia, or manufacturing in Bahrain to feed into the Saudi market. This is an integrated matter. We want our ministry as well as our chamber to act very effectively to that. The second thing is that we want to turn our industrial zones the same way that there is a great success of the industrial zone in Hidd, being an idealistic situation there in terms of environment, safety. We'd like the same experience to be repeated in the other old industrial zones. We want them to see them reconditioned with a lot of green, a lot of eco buildings, a lot of multi-story utilization of the land so that we solve our industrial. And the last thing is that we are promoting building a waste to energy station where we get the 5,000 ton of organic waste that's get generated in Bahrain into energy instead of leaving it or burying it in the middle of the desert as the case now.
Each committee featured top business leaders and experts in every sector, presenting unique working papers to integrate business owners in enhancing future economy and creating a unified vision. The conference emphasizes on developing the economic sectors and tackling the various issues at all levels in coordination with the relevant authorities in the Kingdom of Bahrain. On the course of 2 days, sectorial business committees conduct fruitful discussions with entrepreneurs and business owners related to the sector to listen to their views and recommendations, which will be considered in future decisions. For the first time, Bahrain Chamber of Commerce and Industry launches an annual committees conference to allow business community leaders from every sector to share their views, communicate, and take part in decision-making. Reporting for Bahrain International, I'm Heba Abdul Ghaffar.